Welcome, Maria Shriver.
Thank you for being here.
How would you react if John McCain asked Governor Schwarzenegger to be his running mate? And would you...
That would be a challenge for me. Well, first of all, it's not going to happen.
We don't know that.
Yeah, because of the Constitution, can't happen.
It doesn't say that about the vice president.
Yeah, it does. Checked it out. Yeah, you can. You can't because you have to be prepared.
I think that answers the question.
Yeah, that answers the question. That's right.
Okay.
We have Barack Obama and McCain signs driving into our house, one on one side and one on the other. But I used to worry about that. I used to feel like, oh my gosh, my kids are going to feel like, oh my God, if we side with dad, we're against mom. We're siding with mom, we're against dad. And that's been one of the benefits of this experience is I say to my children, half the country is this, another half is that, a growing number, particularly in California, the fastest growing party has declined to state or independence. And our oldest daughter registered as an independent. And that, what goes on in this house goes on in the country. And that it's really important to understand that there are different points of view. And what you need to do is to be gracious enough to listen with a capital L to the other point of view. Because only sticking with your point of view and looking at the other as the enemy will get you nowhere in politics, in business, in life. And that really has been a wonderful side effect of marrying somebody of another party, which was, at the time in my family kind of like it was like a real what are you doing? On a couple levels, what are you doing?
Now,
yeah.
There are no questions about that.
No, there aren't.
Okay.
I bet there are, but they don't want to write it down.
So Mary Weinstein from Marietta, Georgia, asks, now that you've written a book about becoming who you are, how do you help your children become who they are?
Well, I first tell them that I love them for who they are right now, and that they don't have to achieve something for me to love them. I think, anyway, for me, that was a really powerful, aha moment, that achievement is not tied to love. And
was it in your family?
Well, I thought it was. Yeah. I thought that that's how you kind of separated yourself. Children always say, look at me, and the way to get anybody to look at you in my family was to do something. People were doing pretty big things, and there were a lot of people running around that had a lot of hair and big teeth, and so the only, the message I got was, because I grew up and everybody come by and they go, oh, which Kennedy are you? Which Kennedy are you? And I thought, well, the only way to kind of get anybody to notice you was to do something and to do something big. And so I try to say to my children all the time, I love you for who you are. You don't have to get into some fancy college. You don't have to go off and become president of the United States. If you want to open a coffee shop or a bakery, I love you. And you alone are good enough. And I think that that's an important message, frankly, to anybody at any time in their life, not just to a child. But I think many people are walking around, and I put myself in that group, thinking they weren't good enough, that they had to come in with the resume, that they had to come in with the performance, and the idea that you and you alone are good enough at this age, at my age, at whatever age, is a very powerful concept.
What's your favorite Arnold Schwarzenegger movie?
True Lies.
True Lies.
Yeah.
Aren't you
I
in
like
that?
Twins. Twins or True Lies. I'm not in them, no.
Isn't there one of them that you're...
I'm going to let you think about that. You go think. You put your crack staff on that one.
No,
you try to figure that out.
I think I saw it in Wikipedia. It wasn't that hard to find.
Well, you don't know. What is the answer?
I don't remember. Where's my crack staff?
Ding, 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 ding. That's the question of the day. Where is my crack staff?
Okay. I did find out there that you have a rose named... What is it? Last Action Hero. Can the audio get that? So True Lies is the answer.
Yeah, I like True Lies. I like
How
Twins. Because I think that's really kind of who Arnold is. Funny.
Yeah.
That's what, caught my attention, believe it or not, about him originally, was that he was funny, irreverent, funny, free-spirited. I'm kind of like that. And I hadn't met anybody like that. And those films depicted that.
You recently appeared at a rally for Senator Barack Obama with Oprah and Michelle Obama. Mm-hmm. What is Michelle Obama like, and do you think she would make a good First Lady?
I found her to be a very gracious, smart, funny. She's the kind of girl I think that would be my friend.
Right.
But I don't, I don't pretend that I know her. I've met her twice in my life. I was very impressed listening to her. So I think, yes, I think she would make a terrific First Lady, but it won't be traditional. But I think that image should evolve with whoever inhabits the role. That, it is a role that needs to come up, I think, to modern times. When I became First Lady of California, I said, well, is there like a job assignment here, or is there like a packet or anything that like tells you what to do? And they said, well, no, this is your office. And it had a little sign on the door that said, very special projects of the governor. And I said, I'm supposed to sit as a very special project of the governor? And they said, I said, oh, I don't think so. It's like, I don't think so. And they said, well, you can pick out the Christmas ornament. And I was like, you gotta be kidding. I was like, you gotta be kidding. And then I remember walking through the halls there, and they had all these beautiful oil portraits all over the Capitol in California of all the governors. And I said, well, where are the pictures of the First Ladies? And they're like, well, we don't have any pictures of any First Ladies here. And I said, well, they were here, weren't they? And they're like, well, they were here. I said, can they get a photograph? Can anybody get a photograph up? And they're like, well, no, we don't have a photograph. So that's actually when I became First Lady. One of the first things I did is I smacked up wherever there was a portrait of a governor, a picture of a First Lady. And I put under there, she served too, and this is what she did. And this is who she was.
Do you ever find yourself at odds with being from a prominent Democratic family and being married to a Republican?
Yeah.
So what does that mean?
It just means that. It means I'm at odds.
And do you argue about it? How do you come to a solution?
Discuss it. Discuss it. Discuss it. I mean, it's definitely different to be married to someone of a different political party and both of you just be hanging out, and then one of them runs for office, and then they're actually implementing laws, and you're in a different political party. So it changes the dynamics.
But he's been a governor across the aisles kind of person.
Yes, he has.
Yeah.
Discuss it.
Discuss it.
Discuss it some
Or is that
more.
all because of you?
No, it's because of him. And I think he has really seen his role as to be a governor of all the people. And I think he came in the door understanding that and feeling, well, that was actually already started in his house, understanding that people from the other party voted for him, and to go in and only execute one philosophy wouldn't be politically smart. And I think it also teaches us that labels are just that, because a Republican in California can be more liberal than a Democrat in the South. That has really taught me to look beyond the labels, which was something my dad was really adamant about. He was very involved in picking the cabinet for my uncle and always told us that he looked first and foremost at what the person's passions were, what their values were, what their philosophy was. And the last question was, what is your party? And that way you did get the best and the brightest. You got people of like-minded, because these at the end are all labels. They're all, I think all of us bring labels to our meetings with other people. And I think I was blessed by seeing from both of my parents that they didn't pay attention to labels. Get rid of all of that and look at who the person is, you're much better off.